Welcome to Parks and Cons, companion podcast, the parksandcons.com website and YouTube channel. We discuss cons, theme parks, collecting, and other fun stuff. It's March 20th, 2022. I'm your host, Sean. I'm here with Carmel.
Hi there.
Parks and Cons, You're on the Spot podcast. We take the heart of the actually best conventions and themed entertainment events around. Today we are recording at Knott's Berry Farm for the return of Boysenberry Festival. It's Boysenberry Festival 2022. We are recording right near the Calico Mine Ride is right behind us, and the Calico Mine stage is right across from us here. If you are watching on the vidcast or interested in video version for our normally audio-only listeners, you can jump over on YouTube, and that will be available as well. But we are in the heart of the land of Boysenberry right now. We came out on Friday for opening day. And so we've had kind of one go at things so far. And so it was a shorter amount of time all in all. We were here about 5 to 6 hours, I think, and the goal was to try to be here a lot longer that day, but the WonderCon schedule dropped, and we were kind of covering that, and you may have followed along with that as well. So that being said, we want to dive into this event. There's a lot going on, and so we're going to kind of use the event guide as our own little guide as we kind of go through some things here and stuff. And I think what we'll do this time is kind of go through it more geographically, because there is a lot of entertainment. I mean, that's always the case, but I think it might just help us keep more organized, particularly with something new like Boysenberry Lane, which we will get to in a moment here. So as you start out, then the event itself runs through current till April 24th, so you've got a good chunk of time there that the event will be available. And so there's going to be a lot of weekends to choose from. Pack your patience. It's going to be crowded. It's going to be busy. Actually, we're going to be working on a video that's a little bit about kind of just that exact topic, actually, with kind of collaborating with Knott's on that as one of like the ambassador projects. So we'll have something on that relatively soon. But obviously, it goes without saying during the busy spring and summer months that arriving early, staying late, both of those are beneficial. Knott's has now expanded hours. The event does run through the weeks, but you have to remember it's going to be spring break every week for some hundreds of schools or something like that in colleges, universities around the area. So I don't think you can plan anything's going to be dead all through the Boysenberry Festival.
Right, definitely. And as we've seen and as we've discussed, I mean, all the parks are just busy in general. And when you add in an extra event that's included in your price of admission, it obviously brings the crowds. And Boysenberry Festival being more or less a food and wine type of event, lots of people show up, and so I don't know that there will be any slow days, even midweek or anything, because as you pointed out, with spring break being, I think, here for some schools already, it's going to be a very crowded, very busy time. So, I'm one that I always need to remind myself, embrace myself for the crowds and the busyness, and we always have to pack our patience, and especially during these events and stuff. But because they do provide so much in the way of entertainment, and there's lots to do and see, I find it kind of easier here to still enjoy myself, because there are things that like the art show and things that we'll discuss that don't garner long waits and big crowds and stuff. So there's usually some place that we can find some place to kind of hang out and take a breath and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the Boysenberry Festival definitely, Knott's as a whole, is much more prepared for crowds than DCA is. Disneyland is kind of the ultimate handle crowds type of a park in general here in California, but definitely Knott's can bear it, and particularly with all of the entertainment, which we will get to. So with that said, let's get to just kind of the entering of the park. They do have that statement piece at the very front, a beautiful photo op there. They added in some, they look like cherry blossom type trees with it as well, so it's a beautiful kind of entry statement for your first photos there.
Yeah, I think it's bigger than it's ever been before and stuff, and it looks great, and of course lots of people are taking great photos and stuff there, and it's very beautiful display just as you walk in the gates.
And then a big part, the event, admission to the event obviously is included with your park admission, with your season pass. It's one of the seasons of fun and all of that. But to fully participate, you are going to want to have one of the tasting cards, most likely. We know most people will at some point get a tasting card. And so the tasting cards, you get 6 items, and it is $50 without a pass, or $45 with a pass discount. So for the pass discount people, that comes to $7.50 per item, which is a little bit higher than it's been in the past. But as we always say, and we've definitely experienced here, the items are much hardier than most tasting type events. When I had the meatballs, the mashed potatoes the other day, it's 3 meatballs, the mashed potatoes. that kept me full for 4 or 5 hours. You know, it wasn't something where I wanted to go peel off another tab. So although it might be a little bit pricier, and even on per item average, it's a little bit pricier than Disney this time around. By I want to say it's like 60, 70 cents per item, something like that. But it's definitely much harder, and I've never experienced that at Disney where I've had just one item and been like, okay, I'm good for a while. It's always like you have one item and you're like, well, I want another one or two, just to kind of not even feel like it's necessarily a meal, but just kind of a fuller tasting, I guess.
Agreed. And I don't know, and it's also, we've discussed it, but with so many of the tasting events, whether it's here or DCA or wherever they are, because of the nature of how the lines work and stuff for these tasting events, it is kind of a hit and miss sort of thing. Like when I got the boysenberry pie bar, thank you. They had lots of pieces on display that they could hand people out or hand out to people, and like there was one that was a very hefty size, but instead she gave me one that was like half that size, and I didn't bother to ask her, well, can I get that one instead, or anything like that. But the size that we got, I'm like, I don't know that this is really worth $7.50. But I think if I bought it a la carte, they're charging more than that. I want to say it's like $8 or $9 a la carte. So, it kind of just depends. And then like even the meatballs, I get into that. But the first time we got them with our tab, it was not great. The meatballs were really dry, and there was not much sauce, and it was all kind of cold and stuff. But then we went back later and got the same item, and it was
incredible.
It was a much different experience. So it's
and when our friends got it, it was incredible too. I think all in all, it was ordered like 4 times, and 3 of the times were incredible, and 1 of the times wasn't. So there can be that, and obviously you can always ask if it's not up to your liking, if you want to trade it out. But it is just something. It is the nature of tasting events, and so it's just always something to kind of be aware of. So with that said, let's then kind of make our way into the park there. As you come in, Ghost Town is filled with vendors. Once again, all sorts of artisans. And local breweries, and over in the Wilderness Dance Hall and stuff like that. There's just a lot of local businesses that are there with their arts and crafts. I was excited to see our favorite sign booth had returned to the main street in Ghost Town that has all sorts of little funny little sayings and quotes and Christmas ornament type stuff, and just some great stuff there. But I mean, there is handmade hats and scarves, and there's beekeepers here selling honey and different
soap,
teas.
There's teas, there's signs, there's decorations, there's the
chainsaw sculptors, the glass blowers. I mean, you also get kind of demonstrations with those. There's just a lot to see and do there, and that is one of those things that, no matter how busy the park is, it's nice because you can go and shop and look at those things without any sort of wait or lines.
Yeah, it's I love that Knott brings in those, provides this opportunity for local artisans to show their wares and to sell some items and stuff. And it always seems like they're, happy to be there and enjoying their time here at the farm and stuff. And just open there for, as you, again, part of your entry into the park, you can go to these different vendors and buy some different items and stuff that's unique. A lot of things are like one of a kind or very limited runs and stuff. So really cool things to look at.
I love them for birthday and Christmas shopping just all year round, whenever they're here for various times to check them out and put stuff away, or just, for that immediate time. And then also, they have long hours because they're open as much as the park is open. So they're going to be open, like, I think today it's like 10 to 10 the park is here. And I always wonder, or I used to wonder, it's like, oh, do they sell enough to justify it? Because those are really long days. But obviously they do, because so many of the exhibitors are returning. It kind of, it's like the Florida Comic-Con or something, where you just see over and over the same people there. And there's a little bit of new here and there, but for the most part, it's a lot of returners. So, but let's make the left and go down towards Ghost Rider before we continue into the rest of the Ghost Town area. They have extended, so they rolled this out, I want to say about the third way mark into Mary Farm, where they opened up that back corridor that normally for public use is only in use during Scary Farm to take you to those mazes back there. But they opened it up for Mary Lane, and it just kind of extended the entire park. It added extra seating, some fun photo ops, some food booths, all of that, and it was a real hit. I think it was, decorated beautifully. It was a fun little area, and it felt just a little bit more calm when the park was at its most biggest capacity days. And I think that we have that again. This time it's called Boysenberry Lane. But once again, down there, they've got actually the meatballs with the mashers, which is my favorite item of the event. And you can go down there and not have, at least so far, as big a lines as a lot of the booths you're going to find in other parts of the park. They also have the sausage with peppers and onions, the crab sushi rolls, and the boysenberry aioli is on the way in there. That's over at the Wagon Wheel Pizza there.
Well, I think the sushi is actually available also at the same booth as the meatballs.
You're right. No, I see it now, what you're saying. Yep.
Okay. So, yeah, there's that, and then you can also get the Boysenberry Pie Bar at that same booth, and attached to it is also alcohol, Boysenberry alcohol.
Boysenberry beer,
stuff.
Boysenberry wine, Boysenberry seltzer, and Boysenberry slushy mudslide.
And that is an alcoholic version of the slushy.
Yep.
So yeah, it's awesome that some of these. Well, I think the meatballs come up the most in conversations just
Definitely.
in general. So it's really kind of makes sense that they would have tucked it away in this far off corner to spread out the crowds as much as possible and stuff. And then obviously that is going to garner a crowd sometimes, but so far we haven't seen like massive crowds over in that area, which is cool. But also over there they have a booth that's where they're selling the boysenberry trees, the plants that you can purchase, and they used to have those like right at the entrance of Ghost Town, and I think that sometimes got a little challenging, but now with it further back, they have it set up really nice, kind of almost like a plant store or a nursery sort of setup, where they're all kind of like
It's nice.
like this. It's not like really sectioned off, but it's kind of sectioned off, and almost seems like they're just on display like you would find plants at a florist or something like that, which is kind of a cool thing.
Yeah, and they are $24.99 for the Boysenberry Plants, and we have been made aware that they have ordered as many as they possibly can get. But as with all things in life, there is a there's a demand versus supply, and so be ready that those could sell out. So if there's something you want to get in the earlier part of the event run. I would imagine they won't be here, as we make our way to the halfway point of the festival, because they always seem to sell out. They're very, very popular.
Yeah, I think in past years, sometimes there's a replenishment, but I wouldn't count on that or anything like that. Just if it's something you want, definitely try to get it on the earlier side. We saw them sell even during the pandemic when things were closed and you had to go and bring your car and pick it up and stuff, and those sold out pretty quickly as well. So definitely popular item. But they are also down in Boysenberry Lane to purchase that as well.
Yeah. I really love they added a new game over there with the baskets that kind of spin, and it's one of those games where everybody's a winner, so everybody's going to get something. But also, I watched several kids go through this thing, and they were a high success because you're basically throwing bean bags. You get like a little bushel of bean bags, and you're throwing them into this rotating platform of baskets. And the physics behind the game itself, I don't want to say it's difficult to miss, but it almost seems difficult to miss. If you can just get the bean bag to hit any part of the basket, it kind of caroms into other baskets. So not only are the kids guaranteed a prize, but you also have some, a feeling of success there. Somebody had reached out about their child with special needs, that it was the type of thing that really made them, feel good that their child would have success. It's not like they're just kind of given a prize just because they paid the money, the $6 to play the game, but that they could get it because they actually got some bean bags in there. So that was a neat little addition over there too. They've got the little standing kind of tables that become fire pits in the evening, which is beautiful. Lots of extra tables there. Now, to me, the highlight down there, really on two sides, is they both kind of relate, is that entertainment side. Is you have a couple of the Boysenberry like chefs down there as stilt walkers that are making their way around and interacting with guests and talking to them about their Boysenberry treats and how they're learning to be become master chefs with at Cordelia's Academy and all of that sort of stuff. And then also Whittles is constantly down there, and this is Boysenberry the Boysenberry variant of Whittles that comes with Boysenberry in his beard there, and he's got his little Boysenberry
kerchief,
in his backpack behind him. He's dragging along, and he's got this they built a beautiful probably 10-foot tall photo op. I mean, it's an incredibly large photo op of kind of him mining in the boysenberry land there. And it's got a pick, and it's got some boysenberry jam here and there, and it's Lucky Mine number 17, which we're not sure what the 17 refers to, but it is a really awesome photo op. The scenic team always does such an incredible job here, and it's all on full display. So to me, that is like the highlight of the event. The only thing that area misses is just it doesn't have obviously history. Like for us, like sitting right here, there's so much nostalgia and history everywhere in the park, and there just because it's a newer, all the really history and nostalgia. This is really where we run through to get to the mazes, or things like that. But in general, it's such a great addition to the park to kind of expand, give some more room, add some seating, and really everything down there I feel like is a hit and a nice little way to kind of beat the crowds sometimes.
Agreed. And it's fun because you can take your time to like look at the different signs they put up there, because it's not like they just opened up the area and said, just let's throw some tables down, but they actually decorated like the fences, and there's flowers and there's signs and stuff, and lots of little jokes and stuff on those signs. And so yet another place that you can go to kind of take a break from the crowds and stuff and just spend a few minutes or longer. We can just hang out down in that area. But again, it's more than just seating. You can like look around and take in, the fun decor and stuff that is added for the season and stuff. So yeah, really love that area. And I'm guessing it'll probably get more crowded as people find out more about it. But for Merry Farm, it was nice because even when it was the busiest, it didn't seem like people really knew about it. So it was kind of this like little hidden gem. But now with like the meatballs and whittles and stuff down there, I'm guessing it's going to be a lot more crowded. But it's nice just to have that area as an option.
It's only almost like right now it's a private area for like the hardcore Knotts people that know about it, like eventually, but because no matter what, it's always going to be off the trail, the same way that something like, the over where Pooh is in Critter Country and stuff at Disneyland is kind of always a little less crowded down there. But right now it's just a great way to kind of beat the, the average spring break crowds that are not going to go down there. They're going to get in line for Ghost Rider. They're going to run to Silver Bullet and Hang Time and all that, but not going to maybe linger down there. So as we make our way back out of there, another part of the tasting card, there is Wagon Wheel Pizza, and at that booth they are serving the mini crab sushi rolls, which we talked about this in the preview video, but I really liked that, and I kind of have a taste for it actually right now as we're recording this. They've also got the boysenberry and pomegranate smoothie, the chicken cordon bleu with a boysenberry cheese sauce, and boysenberry barbecue chicken pizza are all available there.
Now, as a side note, they don't seem to be using that for any of the regular pizza options. They're only doing those tasting items there, and the over by the Rapids, the Wagon, is it Wagon Wheel? Broiler. Yeah. The Wilderness Broiler.
Yep, Wilderness Broiler.
Yeah. There too, they're not serving their regular menu. It's just the tasting items. Now, I don't know if that'll change, but when we were here on Friday and the regular menus are gone, and it's just the tasting items. So if you're looking for like pizza, you're going to end up needing to go to the place over near Sutter's or out in Camp Snoopy. And at the broiler, they normally mostly it's burgers and hot dogs and stuff, so you can find those in several locations. But just a heads up that the regular menus aren't being offered, or at least they weren't when we were here on Friday.
Then Ghost Town Bakery, they have a few items that are on the tasting card. The Boysenberry Rocky Road Brownie, the Boysenberry Mousse Chocolate Cake, the Boysenberry Pie Bar, and the Boysenberry Horchata. All of those are on the tasting card as well. And we had the brownie, the mousse, and the pie bar, and I liked all three of them. The pie bar for me was kind of the hit of the dessert so far. I really enjoyed that, and so those are all available there.
Now, our friend did get the mousse in the evening, and it was like frozen in the middle, and she, I offer, I'm like, we can go and exchange it, but she opted to just continue to try it, and so I think she still liked it, but again, one of those things that just happened, I guess, during the festival and stuff. So if you do, it is frozen or something like that, I'm sure that the employees would be more than happy to exchange that for you for a different item or different one. But that was an interesting experience. She was a little hesitant. She's like, it's so pretty, and usually when things are pretty, they don't taste as good. I'm like, well, I don't know what it's like today, but when we had it at the preview, it was really good and it looked pretty. And then she got it and it was frozen. So it was kind of a funny experience. But yeah, just again, an example of sometimes, you may need to make an effort to go back and get it exchanged. And I'm sure they'd be fine with that.
Spurs Chop House is also part of this, all cleared out from the normal tables and chairs in there, so they've got a variety of booths in there. You've got the chicken pozole with boysenberry garnish and tortilla chips, the chicken dumplings in boysenberry wonton with rice pilaf and a teriyaki dipping sauce, the spring fling salad with shrimp and boysenberry vinaigrette, the boysenberry juice and sweet tea with vodka, and the boysenberry slushy mudslide, all available in there. We did talk about a few of those. I liked the chicken dumplings. We had one friend that loved the chicken dumplings, one that didn't like the chicken dumplings. I liked them. I think you liked them more than I did even. So I think 3 positives and 1 not loving out of those.
At the preview, I think they were a little chewy and stuff, so I wasn't sure about it. But our friend that liked it, she's like, they were really fresh and they were great. And I think they described it as they overachieved on that item. But then when our other friends tried it, they didn't love it. So yeah, I don't know if it's interesting with kind of the fried rice sort of side, and so I don't know. I'd imagine we'll end up trying it at some point again.
Now, as we make our way into kind of back into Ghost Town proper, and we head down Fog Alley and make our way in there, you've got Riverboat Revenge is kind of the highlight there in terms of new entertainment. This is, the return of the melodrama to the Birdcage Theater, something we have that has quite a history in, and it's so fun to see these shows they put together. And this is another one in that vein. I mean, it is exactly what the melodrama is, from the crowd participation, the oohs, the ahs, the cat calls, the clapping along, the over-the-top villain, the girl showing the garter, all of the, recipes for a melodrama comedy. It all comes together in Riverboat Revenge. It was a very good cast that we saw. We saw them, I think, at their last performance on Friday. No waning in energy at all. It was high energy, a lot of fun, and definitely to me a must-see in terms of the entertainment offerings there. And it's something that I think they show enough times a day they usually can get in without a terrible wait, which is awesome. I think in general, all of the entertainment for Boysenberry Festival, it either has kind of that walk-up quality in terms of like for example, the Calico Mine Stage. It's a big show that you can kind of walk up late and stand to the side and see. Or there are things like that where it's just like they have enough offerings of it that you're not going to have to worry about getting in line an hour early or something like that.
Yeah, I think we walked in and basically the show was almost going to be starting and we were able to get seats. So if you do go to a show and it's full, you can try a later one and come back because it is, as you said, being offered so often.
Yeah.
So.
You've got the history of the Boysenberry returns to the Ghost Town Hall. That's where they play the video that basically is giving history behind the Boysenberry, Walter and Cordelia Knott, and tying that all in, which is a nice kind of break from the crowds as well. You could head in there and just sit on a bench and watch a little video presentation, which is kind of a nice option to have during such a busy time. And what could be, as I was looking out at the temps coming up, today's a beautiful 74 degrees, breezy here. It's awesome. But there's some 90-degree days coming, and so that might be a nice little escape in some of those. You've got the Bluegrass Duo. We have them through a lot of the year there, but Bluegrass Duo is over at the Fireman's Barbecue. They play throughout the day and into the evenings there. Old McDonald's Farm over at the stable returns. They've got some goats and sheep in there, I believe, right now, and the horses. I think 1 or 2 of the burros have been in there as well. Then as we make our way out of the... Actually, no, let's talk about the food in that kind of corner over there, and then we'll kind of make our way back to Calico Park area. So the 2 food booths that we have in like Ghost Town or on the outskirts or kind of right in there of it, you've got the Wilderness Dance Hall patio booth. So there they have the Boysenberry Cowboy Chili with mac and cheese and a Frito garnish, the Prosecco, how do you say that again? Prosecco with hibiscus and boysenberry juice, the boysenberry beer, the boysenberry wine, and the boysenberry sangria. Oh, and boysenberry cider as well. So we tried the boysenberry cowboy chili with mac and cheese and the Frito garnish the other night. It was fantastic. And talk about a hearty meal. That is some heavy eating there. It's, your mac and cheese with chili and then Fritos on top, and it has an awesome crunch and a nice little bit of sweetness to it. I absolutely love it, but it is a heavy item. There's no way that you're going to eat too many of those in one day. Agreed.
And yeah, we enjoyed it at the preview, and we enjoyed it on Friday. And that is one of the items that there is I think it's a vegetarian option. So as a reminder, if you are vegan or vegetarian, there are several items that that do qualify. Actually, I think that qualify as vegetarian. I'm not sure about vegan, and there's some gluten-free options.
Let me get to that, because there is a whole section in the guide. You can find it right on the website there. They've got the event guide, and this time around they addressed that and made it really clear. So at the top, it's the last page of the event guide on the Knott's Berry Farm website under the Boysenberry Festival section there. They have special dietary needs. They have a big section for gluten-friendly entrees, desserts, and beverages, and then they have a separate section for vegan entrees, desserts, and beverages. And so it goes down everything that they have there for that, which is really pretty awesome. That includes the elote, the Beyond Meatballs and Boysenberry barbecue sauce, vegan sausage, Boysenberry barbecue chicken with the chicken-less meat. So I mean, it goes through all these things, including the veggie chili with Boysenberry croutons over at the Silver. They have that one at the Silver Bullet booth, though. But yeah, all of that you can find in the event guide as well this time around.
Cool.
Okay, so now as we look at, let's see, what else? Oh, the Wilderness Broiler. So over there by Mystery Lodge area, you've got the Boysenberry filled donut, open-faced breaded chicken sandwich topped with a bacon jam and arugula, the deconstructed lemonade with blackberries, loganberries, and red raspberries, and the Boysenberry juice and sweet tea with vodka. Now, you tried the donut, and we talked about that in the other video, and that is another hearty meal. One of our friends, Brad, tried that as well, and again, a hearty, that is a big serving there.
It is, and then, so Brad tried it, and then also I think Angie and Jennifer may have tried it, and I don't know that any of them really loved it. Brad commented that he wished that there was a top to the sandwich, because again, it's basically a boysenberry jelly-filled donut with chicken on top with arugula, and then the what's it, bacon
boysenberry, yeah,
bacon boysenberry jam on top of that. And I think like for Angie, her comment was they were like different temperatures, and like the jam was like really cold, and then the chicken was warm, and the donut was cold, and it was just kind of weird temperature wise. And then Brad, I don't remember if he ate the whole thing.
Yeah.
So he loved. I think I was getting the chili mac while he was eating it,
because he seemed to just love it and eat it all, and didn't hear any. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's an interesting try, but I think that one is one item that I don't think $7.50 or $8.33 is too much for that type of item.
No,
so
it's
using
well
a tab
worth
for it,
yeah.
Definitely.
Continuing down, so we are heading towards Calico Park, so we're going to walk past the glass blower, and we're going to walk past, over towards the churro factory area and stuff. And they have the Chow House booth. They're serving a trio sausage with peppers and onions on Boysenberry polenta, and then the elote with a Boysenberry butter, mayo, and cojita cheese. Yeah, and I'm not a big elote fan. I love corn on the cob, but just I don't like really any toppings on it outside of like pepper and butter and stuff. But I know that there's a huge fan base for that. I know I saw a lot of people enjoying that.
Yeah, Angie and Jennifer enjoyed it. They liked it and stuff. So yeah, it's if you like the stuff, cool. If not, then you can still get your regular corn on the cob over at the Fireman's Barbecue. That might be the only place that comes to mind that has corn on the cob here. Yeah. But you still can get regular corn on the cob, yeah, if you're not a big fan of the elote with all the toppings and stuff.
Yeah. And then in that area, to talk about entertainment real quick, the Calico Saloon show did return, I don't know, however many months ago, but they have not added it to the schedule. I think it just simply is the place is so crowded these days that you put that on the schedule. There's just not that much seating when you take the upstairs and the downstairs. There's a huge line for alcohol all the time at the saloon these days. It seems like even on weekdays at 4 p.m. and stuff. So you can ask, though, the bartender, and they'll tell you when the next showing is. So you'll have to kind of check on that one. But just to know, I know for a lot of people that's kind of a favorite piece of entertainment. I know for my mom it's one of her favorite things. For me it's one of my favorite things. So you kind of just have to put in a little bit of extra work there to be able to catch it, though, because it doesn't just pop up on the app. And I know there was a couple months there where I just kind of kept forgetting that it was there until we'd leave. And I'm like, dang, why didn't we check out the saloon show? So just something to kind of keep an eye on there.
Now, traditionally, does it change at all for the Boysenberry Festival? I mean, you and your mom go to that show like regularly, like in the pre-pandemic time?
I mean, the songs and storylines kind of change and evolve a little by, I think, performers more than seasons outside of Christmas normally. But no, I think it's mostly pretty much the same, which, again, depending on performers and their kind of songs and things like that. But yeah. In that Calico Park area, then, you also have the Judge Roy Bean booth. So that's right across the way from the Saloon, like the opposite side of it. There you've got the all-beef meatballs. So that's another option to get the Boysenberry meatballs there with the mashers. They also have the Prosecco with the hibiscus and boysenberry juice, the Boysenberry beer, Boysenberry wine, Boysenberry sangria, and the berry cider. All of those are right there over at Judge Roy Bean. And then on the other side, just not too far of a walk from there, Silver Bullet booth. That is over, obviously, by the Silver Bullet coaster. They've got the Boysenberry Cowboy Chili with mac and cheese and a Frito garnish, the Rocky Road Brownie, the beer, the wine, the seltzer, the Boysenberry Sangria, and the berry cider. So you've got a variety of items there that, and again, one thing you can hear is one of the things that they've done is try to make it so you have multiple booths you can go to for a lot of these items. So it's not just one place backed up and you have only one option for meatballs or the Rocky Road Brownie or whatever it is. So I think there's less items on the tasting card, but a wider distribution of where you can get them so that you're able to test the thing or taste the things without having an hour wait for them.
Cool.
Okay, let's get back to some of our entertainment then as we make our way over that way. So at the Calico Mine stage, you've got the Boysenberry Fun and Games. We have not witnessed this yet. I can see from here the little, this is, they normally have it over at the Calico Park area, but they have the signage up. If you're watching on the video, you can see on the stage for Fun and Games, but these are kind of those children-specific games. Usually the characters come out. One of the things I really like, though, so they've moved to the nighttime Snoopy's Boysenberry Jamboree. So it seems to have like 2 showings a night, something like 7 and 9 or something like that. And that is that big singing, dancing stage show up there on the Calico Mine stage. And it is a big-time show. It's the type of show you just don't really see at theme parks anymore. It is, I mean, it's awe-inspiring seeing it. It's just like, you're looking and you're just like, man, all of that entertainment. If we had just half of this talent, you know, working over at Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland and Batu, it'd bring that whole place to life or whatever it might be. They are singing, they're dancing, there's classics, there's kids, the characters come out as well. You've got Snoopy mixed in and Charlie Brown. So there really are elements of it that are more for the adult crowd and more for the kids crowd, but it's in the end, it's all family friendly, high energy, and an absolute blast. And
yeah, I want to say that's a cast of probably like 20 or so per performance. I mean, I didn't actually
like
count
a cast
them.
A, you know, I'm sure they have their backups and everything too. And yeah, it's a big cast.
Yeah, and it's really fun. And that, I think, is, well, that and Camp Snoopy we'll get to, but are kind of Easter heavy, or not just Boysenberry Festival specific, but also Easter. And so there, you know, are parts of that show that are related to Easter eggs and Easter baskets and stuff like that. So
yeah, they do the bunny hop.
So yeah, kind of just a spring more show than a Boysenberry Festival specific show. So that works.
Then if we make our way over to Memory Lane in that area, one thing to note, Cordy's is currently closed. That big store has been going over a major renovation in there, so I am really curious to see that, because that's always, I mean, we stop at Cordy's every single time we're at the park. My mom likes shopping there. I like shopping there. And it's been closed for weeks, and it looks like it's going to be closed a little bit longer, but across the way over at the factory store, that was the new Boysenberry, the Bears store over there. It's kind of the exit through the gift shop type of a thing. You've got Tied Up in Knott at the factory store. So that is the latest of the art shows. And Knott's started this, I want to say 4 years ago now, maybe something like that. But they have been doing, in the first one they did, I believe it was a Boysenberry Festival, because I remember being excited about it, but also instantly being like, I hope they do something like this for Scary Farm. And then they did with the Into the Fog art show. But it is a wonderful art show. There are such talented individuals that have their work on display. It's the entire back wall of the factory store. Our friend Kenzie, her artwork with the Ghost Rider on there is just incredible. Sam Carter's like old school map with, even, you had noticed this, I had missed it, but like the clouds are kind of nods to, you know, extinct attractions. Like there's a dinosaur shaped cloud or things like that.
There's a dolphin. There was I think it was a car, one of the carts from Soapbox Racers in there and stuff. So yeah, lots of cool little things to catch on that on that work.
All sorts of beautiful stuff in there. And again, something you can do and really take in a really unique part of the event without a big line. You know, go in, get some air conditioning, check out the art show over there. If we head down the boardwalk, Knott Radio returns past hang time. That has become a staple of all the entertainment year-round, even in the non-season of fun, those little transitional week or two in between events, them doing their kind of comedy routines there on the radio are really fun to hear over there. Over at Boardwalk Barbecue stage, you've got the Boysenberry Blues. This we did not get to see, but it's a blues group performing over there, right in there by the Boardwalk Barbecue. We also have not yet been able to check out the Knott's Totally Tubular 80s Dance Party. That is in the Boardwalk Ballroom. But from the video I've seen, it looks like a lot of fun. There is tons of dancing going on in there. And it's just one big old party in there, celebrating, of course, the 80s.
Yeah, and I love that I don't have the hours in front of me, but it's something like 6:30 to like 9:30 or something like that. So it's nice that it's yet another place where you can go and take in some entertainment, and there aren't going to, or I imagine there aren't going to be any significant lines because it's just kind of going, for several hours and stuff, which is a really cool thing to just have some entertainment just going.
Yeah.
And not having to wait for specific times or anything like that.
Yeah, it's nice to know that when you come to Knott's for Boysenberry Festival, no matter how backed up parking may be, no matter how long the line to the turnstiles, food, drink, whatever, though that you'll be able to experience entertainment and the event somehow. And that is something that is not always easy to do, but you definitely will be able to do it here, and I like that quite a bit. As we bend over into Fiesta, they've got the mariachi band over there. We did not see this time, but Mariachi Angelitas are returning there, which I love. They seem to be becoming part of kind of the normal Seasons of Fun routine there. They are such great mariachis that perform in the evenings over there. Absolutely love them. In Camp Snoopy, the music goes round and round, stays. So that came during, that was kind of the Camp Snoopy show during Peanut Celebration. It stays for Boysenberry over there. It's a fun little dance show. As well. One of the things, I guess, for Camp Snoopy doesn't get a lot of attention during the Boysenberry Festival, but there is a lot in terms of the lighting and at night. So if you're able to make your way over there, and decor,
there's
a lot
lots
of spring,
Easter
bunnies
and
lambs,
eggs, and all sorts of stuff that's kind of fun, cute, very spring-like in that area.
Yeah, and then rounding out the entertainment over on the Wagon Camp stage, you basically have a mix. On the program guide, they say country western bands. What we've seen so far, it seems like it's Mighty Tornadoes when Crazy Kirk and the Hillbillies aren't here, and I believe Crazy Kirk and the Hillbillies, I want to say, are coming back next weekend or the weekend after, but it's a collection of those types of music there. And then the Native American Dancer returns and tells those tales over at the Indian Trail stage, and that's there. Now, one thing I did want to point out before we wrap up here as we make our way around the park, there are 17 additional eating, drinking, treat spots throughout the park. So places like Sutter's, Mrs. Knott's Pie Kitchen, the Churro Factory, Strictly on a Stick, Boardwalk Barbecue, etc. They all have items. So we're not going to go through and read all of those, but they all have items and many of them appear on the dining plan. So for example, if you do go over to Boardwalk Barbecue, you've got the pot roast with boysenberry masters there. You've got potato chips with boysenberry onion dip. Those are items there. They're not on the tasting card, but they are available for purchase. Over at Papa Loco, you've got sweet potato and curry chicken fries with boysenberry drizzle. So although I've heard a few people say, like, oh, it seems like there's less items this year for Boysenberry Festival. It's like, I think there may actually be less. I mean, I've not done the math, so I may be incorrect. I think there might be less options on the tasting cards total, but there are a ton of options throughout the park. And so if you have that meal plan, there are so many options there. And if you just want to, if you're just coming for your one day to buy as well, are a lot of options. But even with that, I don't know that you'd be having the time or the stomach to eat anything beyond the 6 tasting items.
Yeah, and then also at the funnel cake stops, so Sutter's Funnel, a Log Ride Funnel, and Ghost Town Grub, they have monkey bread fry bun bites with a boysenberry glaze, which I really, really want to try, but we haven't, I don't think we discussed in this podcast, but this past week we had some stomach flu challenges and stuff, so I wasn't really up for trying like super stuff, but I think today I might have the stomach for it, so we'll see. But I really want to try the monkey bread fry bun bites. So there isn't a fun bun this season, but I think this kind of replaces the fun bun.
That's big news, yeah. But the fun bun is a really big part of Knott's foodie culture the last 5 years here, but it's taken a season off here, or taking a season of fun off this Boysenberry Festival. I think this is the first Boysenberry Festival without it since the inception of it. So we'll see if it returns down the line or not.
Yeah, and then also at those locations, there's the funnel cake with boysenberry jam and cheesecake bites, which we haven't tried. It wasn't available for us to try at the preview, but they did have one on display, and that looked really good because it's standard funnel cake and stuff, but then also with little squares, little cubes of cheesecake on it, which looked really, really tasty. So I don't think we'll be trying both of those, but I feel like I might be trying the monkey bread today. We'll see.
Last items I have, and then if there's anything else that I'm forgetting, go ahead and throw it in. But the Squishmallows, the exclusive Boysenberry Squishmallows return. The Squishmallows have become such a big part of the gaming culture here, the carnival games. I mean, the carnival games are really thriving like I've never seen them at any theme park right now. But I believe they, at this exact moment, don't have the card, because it's one of those things you do 10 games, and then you earn a 12-inch exclusive one. So you play the games, win whatever prizes you win playing the games, and then when you get to that 10th game, you get that big 12-inch Boysenberry one. I believe they have not quite started that yet. I think there's some back order going on there with some shipping, as the entire world has issues with shipping. The other big thing, the T-shirt and pin combo returns for 2022. So it is $19.99 for the youth size, $22.99 for adults. But right there at the Ghost Rider entrance, you get a shirt. This time it is Snoopy with Woodstock and he's pushing a barrel full of boysenberries, and it says "Back for the Boysenberries," and then it's a great pin that comes with it. Knott's Boysenberry Festival 2022 that sits on top of like a boysenberry pin. So I say this every time with all the events here. It's just I love the fact that families can afford to take people here and then get them you can get a t-shirt and a pin for $22, where obviously most theme parks, not just Disney, but most theme parks, a pin alone is going to be $15-20. A t-shirt's definitely going to be $20 or more dollars just on its own there. So that is a really great thing that they've got there, and they continue with. So all in all, a lot of things to do during the Boysenberry Festival, a lot of things to eat, a lot of things to see, a lot of entertainment here. I've always said, for me, the spring season in general is my least favorite of the seasons for the parks, for everything. Just not my time of year. I like the spooky, but I gotta say there's a lot of stuff here that I really do like, and I am excited about all of it. So it's not that I want the Halloween season to take 1 minute longer to get here, but I am so excited for all that we do have to see this season. The entertainment, the food, it's going to be a packed few weeks here. And then as soon as it ends, it's a couple weeks, and then the summer season begins. And summer and spring, I think one of the things about summer, spring, they always kind of feel a little bit of an extension of one another, because a lot of, the theme parks are really leaning into what they do, what's kind of their core values, and then kind of how they present it in kind of a fun thing. It doesn't have the same type of theming that, a Halloween thing or Christmas thing is, but it's some good stuff there. And so it's going to be a good, strong season here, I think, at the Boysenberry Festival.
Agreed. I mean, can't think of anything that you overlook. There's a lot going on, and obviously as things pop up, you know that we will be posting on social as we experience things, as we try things, and we'll have some additional videos and stuff. So obviously continue to follow along on social and stuff, because we're constantly updating things, because obviously things change all the time, and as we observe them, we share them on social and stuff. So yeah,
good point. So for us in the days and weeks ahead here, there's a couple big things coming up, a couple small things coming up. So next up, the Toyzilla Swap Meet Toy Show, March 26th. Collector's Dream Toy Show, March 27th. WonderCon at the Anaheim Convention Center, April 1st through the 3rd. The Hollywood Show, April 15th through the 16th. Sticker Expo over at Frankensun, for April 16th and the 17th. And San Diego Comics Fest, that is April 21st through the 24th. Remember, you can find many more dates beyond that over on our homepage at parksandcons.com. Carmel's always adding events there, dates, and they're all clickable, so it's easy to find and buy tickets and all those things. Once again, we want to thank our Patreon supporters, Parks and Cons crew. If you are a WonderCon fan or interested in that, or if you're just interested in Downtown Disney, haven't been in a while, we just put up a bonus video over there. It's about a 20-some minute guide of all the changes to Downtown Disney in the last few years there. And so hopefully our Parks and Cons crew's enjoying that. And if you're interested in supporting the show and joining Parks and Cons crew, please check us out on Patreon. If you are checking this video out online, please like, please subscribe, help us share the word of what we're doing. Greatly appreciated there. Remember, though, you can follow along, as Carmel mentioned, on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and of course YouTube, all of them at Parks and Cons. Wrapping up here at the Boysenberry Festival. Until next time, we'll see you in line somewhere.